Hey everybody, welcome to Stamping with Melva. I'm Melva Peters and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in British Columbia, Canada. And you can find me online at stampingwithmelva.com. So first of all, I'm hoping that there'll be somebody joining quickly because I want to make sure I have sound. And without having someone join me, I might have to go grab my phone and just see that I actually have sound on Facebook. We're having some issues. There's been some issues with the web camera that we use, and somebody reported that there was no sound. So I'm going to grab my camera because I don't see anybody who's joined me quite yet. And I'm just going to make sure that we have sound before I kind of get into this, and then we get started. All right, so I have my phone. I will just check and see if I can see that we actually that there's sound. Okay, there we go. Okay, it does say I have sound. I can hear it, so I'm going to carry on. And hopefully others are going to join me. So it's Tuesday night, and I missed you last week. I was at an amazing weaving retreat for 4 days. Had so much fun. So exhausted, but I had so much fun. But I'm back, and I get to do a sketch challenge with you tonight. So hey, Catherine, welcome. Just checking to see where I can see comments. Not seeing comments. Everything is a bit odd. I have no idea why I can't see comments in multiple places. But okay, well, we're going to assume that we're all good. All right, so a sketch challenge for you tonight. I'm going to actually make a fun fold. So this sketch you could use in any way you wanted to. You could just use it as a sketch, but I'm going to do a fun fold out of it. It's fairly easy to do, and I think it's called a flip flap card. May have that wrong, but it's got a closure on it, so you can close the front of it. So I'm going to switch over, and we'll get started. So this is the sketch, and you probably, if you make cards and have done fun folds, you probably recognize this. So this piece here with the circle, and then this piece of cardstock here will open up, and then it will allow, that will kind of flap over it and close it. So you need a card base that's 5.5 by 8.5, and then I've got a piece of cardstock, which is the white, that's 4 inches by 5.25. This piece that attaches to the back of the card, 1.5 by 4. You can make it a little wider, a little narrower, but you do need the width, so because we're going to score that. You need some kind of shape. I've got a circle here. I've said about 2.5 by 2.5, but you can use a shape. It doesn't have to be a circle. And then I've got a piece for my sentiment. Mine's going to be, I think I cut it 5/8 of an inch, and I'm not sure how long it is that's going to go here, but whatever fits your sentiment. So this image of the sketch with the measurements will go live on Instagram and Facebook in about half hour's time. If you miss any of those measurements or you want to grab it so you can make it again. Okay, I'm going to use a sneak peek from the upcoming upcoming annual catalog that comes out May 6th, I believe. So this is called, and as I say that, this might be an online exclusive. So there's 2 things launching in May. One is the new annual catalog, and then there's a whole bunch of new online exclusives. And I'm still struggling to keep track of which is which. But this is called Sunrise Sailings. It is I didn't pull the embossing folder. It is actually a stamp set, dies, and a hybrid embossing folder. That I don't know where it is. Oh, here it is. Here's the embossing folder. So isn't that cool? You've got the sailboat and the waves and the clouds and some birds. I'm not actually the sailboat, or I'm going to actually cut out some sailboats using the dies. You've got the waves. This is for the sails, to stamp some color into the sails. And I love all the sentiments. I love this font. It's just such a pretty font. Okay, so that's the bundle that I'm using, and again, it is coming out new in colors. Let's put that back with before I lose that cloud. This is called Cloud Cover, and so it's one of the new online in colors that's coming out. The ink for this has not been released. They had a quality issue with the ink, and they don't ever release anything when there's a quality issue with it. And so we've got the paper, but we don't have the ink pads. So I'm going to use the other color, the other bluey color that is a new in color called Secret Sea. It's a really dark, moody color. Okay, so that's my card base. So it's 5.5 by 8.5. And we're gonna score it. Ooh, I got some paper cut in there. There we go. Paper caught in there. We're gonna score it at 4 1/4. So usually I say to you, you can use a piece of cardstock that is 5.5 by 8.5 or 4 1/4 by 11. In this case, for this card, you do need one that is 5.5 by 8.5, and it's a portrait shaped card like that. Okay, so then the other thing we need is this piece of cardstock. Now I have this a little bit longer, so I'm probably going to trim it because I don't want it to be too long. So I'm actually going to trim it to be 4 inches, as I said. And then I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch. And this is what's going to connect our card front to the back. So this piece we're going to fold into the mountain, and it's going to connect to the back of the card like that. And then I cut out a circle. This is, and I'm probably going to trim this just a little bit. Hey Connie. Oh, it's beautiful. Yes, it's been a beautiful day here. Oh my gosh, I had a meeting this morning, and I drove out with my window open. It was so lovely. So this is cut out of the Stylish Shapes dies. You can see the little stitching. This is the second largest. And so I actually am going to trim my piece here. I'm noticing it's going quite a ways over, and I really would like this to be in the middle, and I don't want my, you can't see that. There you go. You can see that. So I'm just going to take and trim my connection piece. I'm going to take 1/2 inch off. I just wanted to make sure I had enough to be able to join. So now when this goes on, my circle can go over top in the middle and not, you won't see it. Okay, so let me get this burnished a little better. There we go. Okay, so I've got my card base folded into the mountain and burnished it with my bone folder. Now I took the, I've got a piece of basic white, and I embossed it using the Soft Waves embossing folder, because I thought that was kind of a pretty embossing folder to use. So this is going to go down onto the front of the card. And let me find a scrap to get my ink. Yeah, this is the glue that is misbehaving. So let's get this one and see if it works. All my glue is misbehaving because I've been away for a while. Let's see. This one is working. So we'll get this kind of in to the center. If you wanted to, you could take your blending brush and give a little bit of color. If I had the cloud cover, I would do that. You could use Balmy Blue or Pool Party if you wanted to, but I'm just going to leave it like that. Now this piece is going to attach to the inside of your card. So you're going to put the glue on this little tiny 1/2 inch flap and adhere it on. We want to do that before we put the inside of our card on. And I'm going to use Terran tape for this, because I want it to stick and make sure it holds. This flap kind of gets a fair amount of movement. Now, if you've got magnets, and I don't have any handy, you could use magnets to make sure this folds and stays flat. I'm going to just take and put that on with it closed and then rub it, and so you get that flap like that. And mine's a little bit closer to the bottom than the front, or the top, but that's okay. All right, so then this piece is going to go on like that. So let's do some decorating. I cut out in advance This is one of the sailboat pieces, and I cut it out a secret C. And then this is the sails that go on top of it. So I'm going to use a little bit of glue. You only need the glue on one side because it's only attached to this one side of the boat, like that. So when this is very delicate, so there's only one tiny little piece of cardstock that is holding that in place. So when you're playing with this and moving it around, just be quite gentle with it, because it is quite delicate. So I'm going to use some mini dimensionals to just put on there. You could cut a piece of the dimensionals, so just use the mini ones on the bottom, and then a dimensional on each of the sails. Before I glue that down, I'm going to take, there is a stamp that's got the bird. I did cut out some birds and I'm going to use them. They're very tiny. I hope I haven't, I cut out 3. Hopefully I haven't lost, I see 2 of them here, so they're so delicate. So I would, if I was you, I would do that kind of at the very end, so you don't. I'm going to just stamp those 2 for now, and then we'll take, ooh, see how delicate that is? It just kind of bends. And Connie, this is even cuter when you do it in different colors. Actually, okay, before I glue that down, I keep changing my mind. I'm going to use the waves and just stamp one of these waves across. There are dies that you can cut out the waves. Now this is quite dark, so I'm going to take and stamp off, and then just put some waves down here, so it doesn't look like my sailboat is floating in the air. There we go. Very cute, isn't that cute? All right, so I'm going to use dimensionals. What you want to make sure is when you glue or adhere your shape on, you're only adhering it onto that fastener from the back of the card. And so my way of making sure that that's the case is to put the dimensionals onto that piece of cardstock, and then I don't have to worry. I know that it's not going to glue to the card. Now, see what mine's doing? It's popping up. So just make sure you give it a really good burnish. That's where a magnet, if you've got a magnet, works really well. But if you just take your bone folder and really press hard, it will lay nice and flat. All right, I cut out some of the oh, I do. There's my 3. Okay, so let's put those on now. Actually, so I've got my 3 tiny little birds. But before I do that, I'm going to add a little bit of secret C to, see how dark this is? It's lovely and moody. But let's take this. Take my birds out of the way so I don't lose them. Yeah, I'm just gonna take and put a little bit of blue onto my. I only want just a touch of the blue so that they'll show up on my background, like that. Go like that, and now I'm just going to take and put little tiny dots. That one's quite a big dot. So where's my somewhere. There it is. You take your pick tool. I would put the magnet underneath the embossed cardstock, and then under this piece. The magnets usually are quite strong, and so you can get away with them, you know, not having them right up against each other. Baby wipe to get that glue off my finger. All right. So let's just put that down. Like that. And if you've got the putty end of your take your pick tool, you can pick up your birds. And if the liquid glue shows up, just use your piercing end to grab it. There we go. So I've got my birds. Now I didn't bring any. I was going to get some linen thread, but I didn't. But I color flat pearls, and they come in all of the new in colors. You can see I've used a lot of the Timid Tiger. Seems to be my favorite color. So let's use some of the Secret Sea. Three sizes for each. Like that. And of course I put those on before I put my sentiment on, so let's move them over here because I still need to get a sentiment on here. So this is 5/8 of an inch, and I will trim it. So I pulled out the sentiment that says, "Congratulations." Don't know what I'm going to use this card for. I was thinking about best wishes, and I was thinking about the one that says happy retirement, but I don't know anybody who's retiring, so congratulations is kind of generic enough. And then where's my stamp? Okay, so let's stamp these waves across the bottom like that, just to give something on the inside of the card. Okay, this can go down. I have to sort out my other glue. So now when the inside of the card goes down, Grad's coming up fast. You're right, it is. All right, so this will cover that little flap that I adhered down. So that goes right over top of that. And then since this is so long, I'm just going to take even when I cut up from the middle, sometimes I don't get it in the middle. There we go. And my dimensionals are here. So this is quite long, so I'm going to stagger my dimensionals a little bit so that it doesn't wobble and doesn't sag in the middle. And that can go right there. All right, I think I have everything. Get my lids on my glue. So there we go. So that I think is called a flip-flap card. At least that's what I call them. So that opens like that. Quite an easy fun fold to make. So if you're interested in fun folds, I have a couple of things to tell you. So this card is going to go into a blog hop in a couple of days that is all fancy folds and fun folds, so you can check it out on my blog and hop along with us and see the different fun folds that everybody's creating. Also, don't forget, today or tomorrow at the latest is the last day to sign up for the Lovely Garden Stamp Camp, which is all about fun folds and more. So if you purchase the Lovely Garden suite or put an equivalent order in with me for that suite, you will get the make and take kit with 6 make and takes, plus the video and the PDF instructions, and then you will get 6 additional bonus projects during the lives, all fun folds and all with a different technique. So that is 12 fun folds and 12 different techniques, and it's a great way to make use of a suite. If you purchase a suite, you can get definitely lots of use out of it, in this case with all fun folds. So tomorrow, end of day, is the very last day to put that order in so I can get the kits out in time for the stamp camp on the 3rd. If you can't join us live during the stamp camp, you can always watch the videos later and make the make and takes at your leisure. All right, everybody, thanks for joining me. I will be live again tomorrow with the technique, so hopefully you can join me then. And until then, hope you have a great evening.